Okay, let's start. Go.
Okay, it already is going.
Yes.
I'm Joshua, 20 years old and an American.
And I'm Siena, 19 and from the Netherlands. We met in October 2018 in Australia, where we both did a Discipleship Training School with YWAM Tasmania.
We flew across the world to pursue God and discover His calling for each of our lives. Soon after meeting, we realized that we would be spending the rest of our lives together.
However, because of the rules of the program we were on, we weren't allowed to begin dating for over 5 months.
Welcome to our journey. Here is our story. It was October 1st, 2018, that it all began.
Yes, that's when we met each other for the first time, and I first laid eyes. And then I first laid eyes on Joshua. I very clearly remember I had to say my name 5 times because I talk really fast.
I couldn't understand her.
So I was like, "Hello, my name's Siena." Your name is what? My name is Siena.
Okay, that, but the accent times about 100.
My name's Siena.
Not quite like that. The first 2 weeks that we talked together, I only understood about half of what she was saying.
And he was saying constantly, I can't say the word, I can't speak English.
See what I mean? I still can't understand her half the time.
He was constantly saying, what's that? He was constantly saying, what's that?
What's that? See, I didn't hear what she said. What's that?
And I was just every time I heard him say that, I was like, oh no, I have to rephrase it. Besides that, I thought he was amazing.
Enough complaining?
Yes. No, I was actually really fast in love with him. You have food between your teeth.
I remember Siena walking into the room for the first time, and she had her big backpack on and her pink ukulele, and that was when I knew I wanted to go and talk to that cute Dutchie. It was only upon actually talking to her that I realized I couldn't understand anything she was saying.
Hey.
After the first week, we did a night of American culture, and we had a swing dancing night, and that was the first time that we really started to realize that, oh, maybe I kind of like this person.
And so we were swing dancing, and at first we were both with another person, but we eventually kind of end up dancing together. And I remember Joshua touching my side like this, and oh man, I lost it. Every time we did that move, I just totally lost it. I had no clue what I had to do, and it was just honestly, I was just way too in love at that point.
Here's the thing though, because we hadn't talked at all about this, and I had no idea that she liked me. She had no idea I kind of liked her, and it wasn't until one of the staff members came up to us and asked us about it. Like, hey, what's going on between you two? And he came up to me first, and I said, wait, you think she likes me too? Because the thing is, you actually aren't allowed to start new relationships on the DTS.
No.
And we had no intention of doing that. It wasn't the plan. We didn't even go for that reason, we went to find God and to work on ourselves and build our relationship with Him. But turns out we found each other. And
God.
And fast forward 2 years now, we're still together.
Yeah.
During our second week of DTS, we all went camping together. We really bonded and connected during our time going on different hikes, opening up to each other, sharing our life stories with each other.
Yeah.
And it was especially this one night around the campfire that we had really opened up to each other. And I really wanted to remember the moment. And we had been talking about the stars and just how beautiful they were in Tasmania, especially out where we were camping because you didn't have all the light pollution from any cities around. And it was just absolutely gorgeous. And so as we were looking up at the stars, I was like, hey, I wonder if I can take a photo of the stars with my phone. And of course, I'm not an idiot. I know that your phone doesn't work to take a photo of the night sky, but that wasn't the point.
No, it wasn't.
When I went to put my phone up to take the photo, I switched the camera so it was forward facing. So when I hit it, it was actually took the photo of both of us just so I could remember that moment.
Isn't he a smarty?
I fooled her. She had no idea.
I had no clue, honestly. Another moment that was really special to me during that weekend was the hike we did at YWAM Tasmania. And Josh and I they ended up talking for a long time, and I got to know his heart and he got to know my heart, even though we didn't really know each other. And I just remember like the small moments that when he like touched my arm like that I was just like, whoo.
There was one night that we went camping where we went out by the beach and we were with a couple other people.
But I was the one who said like, I want to go to the beach. Who wants to come with me?
And to be honest, the only reason I went was because Siena was. I didn't want to. It was really cold, honestly.
It was.
But we went to the beach to look at the stars, and there were so many shooting stars.
I love stars. I love stargazing. That's also a reason why I wanted to go to the beach.
Siena saw every single shooting star, and I kept missing it. I was like, wait, where was it? Like, I was either distracted by, or just didn't see it. So there was one moment when we were both there was like a whole group of us, and we were all laying on our backs close to each other with blankets and sweaters over us to stay warm because it was really cold. And we were just laying there, and my hand was on my stomach and Siena's hand was on her stomach, so that our knuckles were slightly touching. And initially I didn't even realize it, and then just the most beautiful shooting star I've ever seen in my life lit up the sky from top to bottom, and that's the moment we held hands.
And it was like, what? And I was just like, wait, what's happening? Like, what does this mean? And it was an amazing moment. Like, wow. It was, like Josh already said. But we're also like, we cannot just like have a relationship on DTS. We kind of knew we liked each other after that moment, obviously. But we're also like, we really want to like be careful and actually wait with dating till after DTS. I didn't want Joshua just to be one guy that I just liked. I didn't want to like do anything wrong because I knew he really liked me and I really liked him. But my previous experience with guys is that I always had a really hard time to stay connected to them after like 2 weeks. After 2 weeks I was kind of like done with dating. When I met Josh, that was one of like kind of my fears, which I was like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to hurt someone in that way. And that's why I was like extra careful in some ways.
It was 5.5 months of us realizing not just that we liked each other, but that God had actually put each of us into each other's lives to stay. Mm-hmm. But it was also an incredibly challenging 5.5 months because of that. Because
so
we weren't allowed to date because of the program. And the reason that rule was there was for good reason. Not to create drama within the small group, and so that we could keep our focus on God during the time that we were there, which was why we were there.
Because just to clarify, in our DTS there were only 15 people, including ourselves.
And so if a relationship were to start and then go bad, it could ruin the whole dynamic.
Yeah.
And so
you don't want that.
It was a good reason why the rule was there.
So after our first 3 months of our lecture phase, we went on
outreach!
Yay!
So after we did our 3 months of lectures and training in Australia, we went to Papua New Guinea for a month.
And after that, we went to Indonesia for a month.
Personally, one of my favorite experiences was riding around in the back of a ute, as the Australians call it, or a pickup truck, as we went through the village with tarp and rope, helping the locals to tie down their belongings and to keep rain out of their homes.
One time, we were helping someone with getting tarps tied up and ropes and everything, and I was always kind of insecure in the way of how I prayed, and I just hoped it was good enough, actually. And then at that time, I just really felt like I had to pray for that woman, so I prayed for her, and eventually it was like super good, and it was such a nice experience that I could pray for her. And that's one of the things I learned on outreach too, was to step out of your comfort zone.
It was really cool that we were in Papua New Guinea for a whole month in the same area, because we were really able to just connect with the people there, and you could even just see how much of an impact that had on them, where we weren't just coming for a week and doing a small project and then leaving, but we were there just engaging with the community, hanging out with them at night, playing volleyball in the mud and the rain with them, getting dirty, and just having fun.
That was so fun. Yeah, it was just like, we weren't like, hey, we're white people. No, not at all. We were really integrated in the culture. Like, we're really living along with them.
Learning, experiencing, and then being able to share with them our own stories and testimonies about God's goodness and how His love changed our lives. after our 2 months of outreach was graduation. We completed our Discipleship Training School, and then we both had to say goodbye.
Yes.
That was our first goodbye.
And at that point, we didn't know what we got ourselves into.
It was after 2 weeks of both being home that I sent Siena a message, and I said, "Babe, did you know we're in a long distance relationship?"
And I was like, I guess so.
Neither of us realized it.
We didn't.
Even though we weren't allowed to date while we were on DTS, afterwards, we didn't even have a conversation about starting. We just did.
Yeah, we did. After 3 weeks of both being at home, so Josh in America and I in the Netherlands, Josh actually came to the Netherlands for 3 weeks, which was really good. And it was really nice for him to meet my family. But not only that,
We had our first date.
we did.
That was a surprise by Siena. We got to explore Paris for the day, and it was our very first date, so it was pretty cool.
It was really fun.
We went to the specific museum just because we saw that you could get this cool photo in front of a clock. And
So funny.
so we went and we found the clock.
Yes.
But in order to get to it, you had to walk through this whole restaurant.
So Joe, what Josh does, he walks straight to the clock. He's just like, shit, we're just gonna make that photo. I'm like,
Walk
okay.
with confidence. Where all the employees were.
So Josh walked with confidence and
Yes.
set his bag down, and then his bottle fell out. But
Metal
because
bottle.
A metal bottle. So because it fell on the ground, you heard through the whole restaurant, cling, 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 cling.
So then everybody was looking at us like, huh? What are you guys doing?
And then we very awkwardly made a photo in front of the clock in the middle of the restaurant.
Well, it wasn't, see, everybody was looking, which meant it was a lot easier to ask someone, "Hey, you want to take a photo for us?" Anyways, that was our first date. And following that, it was back to distance for a while. And since then, it's been back and forth, back and forth. And right now, we really don't want to have to do that again.
Nope.
As you know, we recently received some bad news in regards to that with the IND. But right now, we're working through some things to see if we can figure something out and trying to stay positive. All smiles.
Thank you so much for watching, and this was our story. Well, actually, this was a teeny tiny bit of our story, but we hope you enjoyed it.
Let us know what you guys liked about it, and if you want to hear more detail about just the different things that we went through on DTS and even what the distance has been like since then.
Yes. Babe, if it's actually gonna take a churro.
I'm not gonna let him take a churro.